Adventures, Michelle Trieste, and Joe DeBone here with you. We wanted to share with you a trip over to South Dakota after we left Wyoming. Things are a little warmer in South Dakota. Gearing up was a little different in the morning. We didn't have to layer up as much. And for this part of the trip, it was Joe and I, Kevin,
and Pete.
And Pete. Revive us from the heat.
Yeah, we left. We were based at about 5,200 feet in Wyoming, and we rode up to at some points up to 10,000, almost 11,000 feet.
Yeah.
The Black Hills are not quite that high, so it was a little different climate to deal with. So you didn't need as much layering in the morning. It's still kind of cool in the morning, a little bit chilly, but it was cold in some of the places in Wyoming. So
we stayed in Spearfish. That was great.
Spearfish Canyon is one of my favorite rides.
Nice.
It's not a long ride, but it's a great ride in the Black Hills. Yeah.
On our first day, we went to Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
Monument with the 4 presidents.
Yeah, we headed south on 385 out of Spearfish down through Deadwood, which is a very iconic town we'll get into later. Yeah. And we got down to Mount Rushmore. Mount Rushmore was built between 1927 and 1941. It was a great inspiration to the country to have some of our founding fathers and our most famous presidents' faces there forever, for posterity forever to see. Yeah. And it was quite an undertaking at the time. Think about it, back in the days, there wasn't mechanical type devices that we'd use now.
Yeah.
For accessing. Guys did it on ropes, hung over the side of ropes and saddles and a whole bit and did the blasting.
Yeah. George Washington, known as a great leader.
First president of our country.
Yeah. We had Thomas Jefferson.
Explored, extended our country's boundaries from east to west.
Right. He was part of the Louisiana Purchase. Theodore Roosevelt
was for conservation. He was a conservation guy. He had the foresight to set apart lots of big pieces of land, big areas for national parks and monuments that were still being used by millions of people today. Thank goodness he was able to do that.
And I think he also made the Devil's Tower our first monument.
Yeah, so he did make it a national monument, yeah.
Which we'll talk about that later. We went to see that. That was fun. Abraham Lincoln, of course.
Famous for so many things.
It was interesting to go.
There's the Needles Highway there. It's just an amazing place.
That was so awesome. We have some footage, pictures from there. And one of our friends who recently went there. We went through the Needles Highway. Joe knew the back way to kind of get there, so we had more scenery. But Needles Highway was great. Now I guess it used to be free, and so this year we went and you had to pay
the land
$20.
The Needles Highway area is owned by the Native Americans, and they've decided to capitalize and make a little money on it. So it's $20.
That's good.
$20 on a tour to go through there. And the Needles Highway runs out to Route 16. 16 takes you right to another iconic road, Iron Mountain Road.
Oh, yeah.
Iron Mountain Road twists and turns through the mountains, but it's only like 40, 50 miles away, but the scenery is a lot more diversified. And both of these roads have tunnels that are carved through solid rock, carved through rock. And it's like coming out of a shotgun bore. You look at the end of the tunnel, and the next thing you're out there. And some turnarounds that come back over themselves. And one of the
loop-de-loops.
Yeah, one of the tunnels that you go through on Iron Mountain Road, you get into and you look straight ahead, and I look to be 15, 20 miles away. It's framed perfectly in the round of the tunnel.
And we saw Mount Rushmore when we came out through the tunnel.
Come out through, so you look ahead,
and
there's Mount Rushmore. It's pretty awesome. I don't know whether
it was like framed.
Like it was framed. It was designed. It just happened to be. I'm sure that somewhere along the way somebody had the idea of doing it.
Pretty
great. Iron Mountain Road is owned by the state, so there's no fee for that. But there's a lot of good views, a lot of good landscape.
Yeah, I have a little piece of that Fred shared with us, and I'll share that when he came through with another group who did the same ride.
And then again, too, and talk about preparedness, things to be prepared. As in Wyoming, Iron Mountain goes through open grassland, open grazing.
Right.
So you will see cattle alongside the road. Be cognizant of the fact that you could come around one of those corners, and there's a couple of steers right in the road in front of you. So
Yeah, you gotta be careful.
Yeah, you got to be careful. Eyes got to be all over all the
Yeah.
time. One of the good things, the amazing things about these roads in the West is the lack of vehicular traffic. There's not a lot of people on them.
Yeah, except on Needles Highway.
Needles Highway.
That really got clogged
Yeah, it
up.
got clogged up a couple times.
So, and there was a Star Wars character there. I forget. He's all dressed in white. That was so funny. It was interesting to go see those monuments of the president, then go over and see the Crazy Horse.
From there, Crazy Horse.
Yeah.
Crazy Horse. The obviously Mount Rushmore was funded by the United States government with the figures that it has on it. Crazy Horse, on the other hand, is still under the undertaking. I was there 25 years ago. I think in the last 25 years since I've been there, what's probably been finished is maybe a 30-foot long finger of Crazy Horse's arm. It's out like this, with his hand on the rein of the horse.
Yeah,
because it's cool. All being done by indigenous people,
and they still family members.
It's family members, and they have refused to take any funding from the U.S. government, worried about the events that might happen if the government gets control of it. And I can understand that, things. Whether it'll ever be completed or not, I don't know. We took a bus tour with a gentleman who's quite knowledgeable from around the area.
Yeah. I guess it was Lakota Chief Henry Standing Bear. He organized that with sculptor Kozowski. Yeah.
That was the first family that started it.
Right.
And he was there with his family for a long time. And then, of course, he's been gone a while. Yeah. And his sons, I believe, has taken it over now. He was there with his wife, Ruth, and sons, and a few other people. Yeah. I was privileged back about 25 years ago to know an indigenous Native American from the area who knew the Kozowskis. And he gave me some documents because he heard I was going out west. Gave me some documents to give to the Kozowski family. It was pretty interesting. I got a pretty exclusive tour of the area when I was out there last time.
All right. Oh, and what was his name? You met him, and you actually have that necklace with the bear claws on it.
Well, I met.
You met? That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I met Joe Flint, an American named Joe Flint, and also another American named Branson Richmond. Branson Richmond was an actor. He was in the movie Renegade. That was a series Renegade about. But Joe Flint was Chief Joseph's grandson. He was in full buckskins, and I was wearing a bear claw necklace. And he approached me. My bear claws were a little more symbolic than his was, and a little more glued to him. He approached me. Yeah, pretty interesting trip.
Yeah, we're kind of hoping that we'd run into him there how many years later?
Last 25, 30 years. He might be an old man now, of course, so am I, but it is what it is.
Right, yeah. No, that was very, very neat.
Yeah.
I think I have a picture of wearing those bear claws in one of my photos.
More than likely, yeah.
Yeah, that was really neat. And he said there was significance to
wearing
that,
there's significance to the bear claws. They signify strength. The more claws you wore, the higher you are ranking.
Right.
And I had some beads on my bear claws that were actually made by the indigenous people in Alaska. So and it's supposedly you have to have permission. I had permission to wear them because it's more medicine than a white man is usually supposed to be wearing. But I've been wearing them for 25 years. I guess it's helped me along, so it's all good.
Neat.
Yeah.
I think just when you look at those monuments, they really, there's two sides of every coin, I always say. But think about the determination and the strength that comes from just building monuments and the time it took to build them, who's part of it, and just the ambition they had.
The ambition to undertake a project that took, I guess, 13 years.
Yeah.
And that of course, that was funded.
The Americans, right?
For the Americans,
right,
yeah.
Right.
But Crazy Horse, for the indigenous people, that's been ongoing for, I would say it's probably close to 40 years, and who knows how much longer it will be.
Yeah.
But there's the determination.
That is.
These are people that are funding themselves.
Yes.
Through a little bit of revenue they get from you entering the park to see the place, to a little bit of revenue from, they got some attractions there and a few things that you can buy.
Great museum.
Yeah, that's determination.
Great.
For sure.
And I actually met a woman recently who had been to help build homes over on the reservation there locally. And she said we'll probably sit down in the near future before the year end, and we'll talk a little bit about that. And I will share too how you could help fund the sculpture move forward. So that
Yeah, to anyone out there who's not been to our west, not that I've been all over the place, but I've certainly spent some time Montana, Wyoming, the Dakotas. So one of my favorite states is Montana. Don't deny yourself being able to see wonders, both natural and man-made, and just the sculpture of the West around the Black Hills, with no exception.
To talk about not only ambition but nature's monument. So next week, when we share a little bit about the Devil's Tower.
The Devil's Tower has been existing since no one knows that's when it was used as a landmark. It was used by the Indians as a sacred place. It was used as a landmark when people were crossing the country. You can see it for miles and miles and miles. It's over 800 feet tall, but we'll get into that next time. Thank you so much.
Until then, keep your minds open, hearts open, and wheels on the ground.
Yeah. Ride hard or stay home.